Hi Prateek M. Great to have you here. I'm ARIA, an AI interviewer with robotic systems. Glad we could connect today. I want to understand your experience a bit and see how it fits with this role. This is meant to be a conversation, not an interrogation. So be yourself. Questions are welcome anytime. Shall we get started?
Hey Arya, I think we are good to get started.
Just to make sure, you're interested in the Senior Node.js backend developer role at Robotic Systems, and you're in India. All correct.
Yeah, you got me all right.
How has the monsoon weather been treating you lately?
It's been really good. It's been raining since morning, and I enjoy the monsoon with a cup of coffee and few snacks in the evening.
Nice. That sounds like the perfect way to spend a rainy day. Are you having a relaxing Sunday so far?
Yeah, I'm having a great Sunday. It's raining outside, and I almost spent my entire day gaming in my room.
Got to love a solid gaming session on a Sunday. So, before we dive into the technical side of things, walk me through your background and what got you interested in this opportunity?
Yeah. Hi Arya. I am Prateek, a backend software engineer with around 4 years of experience building scalable backend applications using Node.js, TypeScript, and JavaScript. I have primarily worked on designing REST APIs, authentication system, report platforms, and data processing service. Um, Throughout my career, I have extensively worked with MongoDB, MySQL, RabbitMQ, and few of the AWS services. One area I really enjoy as a backend developer is problem solving. I like understanding how different services communicate and improving their AI performance so that they talk really faster and come up with a high performance product and also designing maintainable systems. So that's all about me. And the thing which I brought me to robotic systems is that they are building cool robotic products using AI, and I want to integrate AI with the backend knowledge I have and also learn AI and contribute more into robotic systems and also in my and also continue growing my career as a backend developer now working with AI as well.
That is a really exciting vision, Prateek. Blending back-end systems with robotics and AI is definitely where the future is heading, and we're doing some really cool things here. Could you tell me about a specific project you've worked on that you are particularly proud of?
Yeah, there are many projects which I'm really proud of throughout my career, and also I'm building few of the cool projects now. So one project I would really be proud about is building and enhancing a reporting platform that processes large volumes of customer data. I would say that I'm really proud of this product because I've been working as a backend developer, building APIs and stuff, where you get data from a single data source and you give it to front end, and more about improving the API performance and stuff. So this challenge, this project was challenging as I mentioned because I had to collect data from various different sources, like uh, from the same MongoDB there were two different tables which I would call as summary, which holds a summary. The other one was raw, and also need to get data from Amazon S3, and combine all this data through multiple different queries and build a proper set of report. This report sometimes also involved billings. Billings are really impact point when you're building a product, because your customer sees that reports that ideally should match any extra debit or something that sort would really cause a bad impact to the entire team or the product. So that's the reason I say this as a project which I'm really proud of.
That sounds like a highly complex and high stakes project, especially when dealing with billing data where there's absolutely zero room for error. To dig a bit deeper into that, How did you ensure the accuracy and consistency of the data when you were pulling and combining it from MongoDB and S3?
So I would ensure the consistency by running few different query checks. Whether the data which we are getting, matches. The total sum of the report we generate matches with that of which we have. As a summarized amount, or summarized entries in a totally different table. If you extract a report for particular 1 month, we when we generate a report, we check that the total sum which we get in that report matches the one which we stored, ensuring great level of report that we generate.
Got it. Double checking against those pre calculated summaries makes a lot of sense to keep things accurate. Since you've been working with Node.js, TypeScript, and JavaScript for about 4 years now, what has been your experience working with Node.js specifically in a professional production level environment?
Node.js has been my primary backend technologies from past few years. I have used it to build, as I said, RESTful APIs, implemented authentication and authorization, and also integrated third-party services, I would say, common, asynchronous jobs, and build internal backend services. Most of my projects are written in TypeScript and JavaScript, which helps improving maintainability and reduce a little of runtime errors. I also sometimes worked on Express JS, asynchronous programming using async await, promises based APIs, and also middleware validations, and more on that part.
Makes sense. TypeScript definitely saves a lot of headaches when it comes to catching those runtime errors early.
Right.
Can you describe a difficult technical problem you encountered in your Node.js work and the steps you took to solve it?
Yeah. So one difficult problem involved, slow report generation because of multiple data queries were being executed, sequentially. What I did was I analyzed the execution flow, identify unnecessary database calls, and optimized SQL queries, added indexing wherever required, and parallelly, using promises to get a proper set of results. And since we are talking about difficult problems, I would also mention that I also introduced Redis cache for frequent reports generated. Uh, these improvements significantly reduced, the report times and improved the overall user experience, I would say. And all these data fetching, other things were coupled in a TypeScript environment where code TypeScript code was used to pull up these data.
Nice. Parallelizing those queries with promises and bringing in Redis caching is a great way to tackle latency. Building on that, when you are designing backend services from scratch, what is your overall approach to making sure they are built to scale?
Yeah, when building a backend service, I focus more on clean architecture and maintainability. I separate responsibilities into basically controllers, services, and repositories, and a utility layer so that each component has a single responsibility. I also ensure proper validation, centralized error handling, and main importantly, login to debug if any errors occur in the code, and configuration management. For scalability, I would say that I avoid blocking operations using asynchronous processes where appropriate, and more specifically, optimize the database query so that there's no delay in the API response, and introducing cache for frequent access of any data, for any kind of data requested from either front end or report service or anything, and also design APIs that are stateless. To be honest, I also pay attention to security by implementing authentication and authorization, also input validation, so that no data gets breached or no data get interlinked with any other clients we have.
Stateless APIs and clean separation of concerns are definitely solid foundations for scaling. You mentioned optimizing database queries and caching, which ties right into this. How do you typically go about identifying those performance bottlenecks in a backend system in the first place before you decide where to optimize?
So I would first identify the slow running queries by adding a proper logging, checking the response time of the queries, and once I get those, I would really, use check if those have indexing or no, and some of the common techniques which I use with SQL are creating appropriate indexes, reducing unnecessary database calls, and also introducing radius for smaller data chunks which are frequently used, and using connection pooling, which was something which I also implemented, because the more number of database request you get on your servers opens a certain number of files on your database, and if you have a more number of connections which are open, it also causes a file descriptor issue with respect to the database, and also execute pagination for getting limited chunk of data if it's a UI page that needs a lot of data, and execute asynchronous processes for this data, providing it to front end.
Connection pooling and managing file descriptors are definitely those real world details that make a huge difference under heavy load. You also mentioned earlier that you've worked with several AWS services. Could you detail your professional experience working with AWS? Which services have you used? And how did you apply them?
So yeah, basically, I worked with several AWS services as part of my backend development. EC2 was used for application deployment, which mainly DevOps would handle, but I am interested into those, so I have couple of time looked into those, that how deployment works, and I worked with S3 for storing files and reports, and Lambdas for lightweight serverless processing. I also integrated backend service with AWS resources and ensured secure access through appropriate IAM permissions and configurations. So I would say this is the gist of things which I worked with AWS.
Got it. Having that hands on experience with EC2, S3, and server less lambdas is really valuable. What are the primary reasons you are looking to transition away from your current role at this point in your career?
That's a really fascinating question, I would say. So the main reason would be I have learned a great deal in my current role, and had the opportunity to work on a variety of backend systems. At this stage of my career, I am looking for more complex technical challenges, opportunities to work on large scale distributed system, which mainly involves AI, and chance to contribute to backend architecture and technical decision makings. I also want to continue growing by working with experienced engineering and solving more challenges backend problem. Looking for more challenging roles where I can push myself hard and have a proper learning curve in my career.
That makes total sense. Wanting to step into more complex systems, take on technical decision making, and dive into the AI space is a great next step for your career. Since it is legally fine for us to discuss this, what are your salary expectations for your next role?
I would say that since based on my current CTC, that would be around 60% hike on the current CTC I have.
Could you share what your current CTC is, or the specific number or range you are targeting? That will help me make sure.
I'm looking for somewhere under 20 to 25 lakhs per annum.
Got it. 20 to 25 lakhs. Thanks for sharing that, Prateek. I really appreciate your time today and sharing so much about your background. Before we wrap up, do you have any questions for me about the role or robotic systems?
Actually, I just wanted to know about the tech stack which you guys use at robotic systems. More interested into that part.
Let me quickly check that for you.
Hmm.
I don't have the exact details of the tech stack on hand right now, but I can definitely have our engineering team follow up with you on that. Is there anything else I can help answer for you today?
I think that would really be it. And thanks, Arya. That was really great talking to you overall. And yeah, uh, have a good day.
It was great talking to you too, Prateek. Our team will review everything and get back to you within 2 to 3 business days. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.
Yep. Cheers. Bye bye.